The Square Ball Podcast.
Hello there, welcome to the show that's brought to you with Levi Solicitors. There's that 10% discount for going through us, levisolicitors.co.uk/the Square Ball. Dan, Michael and Rob on the weekly show. A reminder that you can get Christmas goodies through our merch store. Sort of a final call for that, I would say now, as we record this mid-December. Orders in. Have you bought anything yet? Not from the merch store, obviously, because we get it for free, but I mean,
I was going to say,
generally.
Have we been charging you for it?
For Christmas?
Yeah, sorted.
What have you got?
Ish.
Some stuff?
Stuff for the kids and that. They'll have to wait for Santa, won't they?
Has your wife got anything from you?
We actually have agreed to not bother.
Yeah.
We've reached that stage.
Yeah. Same here.
Same for you, yeah?
Yeah.
The thing is, I'm a grown man. I buy my own stuff if I want it.
Yeah.
If I want anything badly enough, I'll have it. If I don't want anything, don't waste your money on it. It's fine.
That said,
that's the Christmas spirit.
Go buy something from our merch store for yourself or a loved one. But we do really, really appreciate your custom, by the way, if you do buy stuff from us, because it helps to keep this whole...
Buy people a subscription, because that's really good.
This whole silly enterprise going, I was going to say. Anyway, into part one then, and the news, if we could. And we have news hot off the press, actually. This one has just come to light in the last sort of 10 minutes before we started recording this on Tuesday lunchtime. We've been charged by the FA. Do you know what we've been charged by the FA for? A breach of FA Rule E20.1. Is that we've just made it up on the hoof rule breach for surrounding the referee with a last-minute penalty.
I think we're the first team to ever do it, so it's understandable.
Absolutely right that they stamped down on this kind of awful behaviour. I mean, like, there's no footage. I'm just looking at it now. I mean, credit to Tomo, who's at LUFC1992_V2, who has tweeted, and I've retweeted it from the Square Ball account, showing Chelsea's players surrounding the referee in the, let me look, it's the 26th minute of the same game when we've just been given a penalty. That's about the right time, isn't it, I think?
Yeah, probably. Were they look at the cumulative value of the players in that picture?
Yep.
And then compare it to ours, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, probably about 7 Chelsea players.
Average of about 40 million each, probably.
I mean, just to apply the rule completely, Tyler Roberts is in there as well, so there's another 100 million to add onto the bottom line there. But I can 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 of our players, one of which is Creswell, and he's a child.
Okay. That's probably it then. Probably you should
respect your elders.
For 2 elders and all that, yeah. Yeah, it's a bit... I mean, we don't know what was said, do we? But yeah, we've got to get the old flux capacitor out, haven't we, to provide our response?
Yeah, Ellie May on Twitter pointing out that the FA's graphic they've tweeted out says the charge relates to the match on Saturday, which is the 11th of December 2021, and the club has until Thursday the 16th of November 2021 to provide a response. So, it might be a little bit difficult to get that in time.
Is it like when you get a parking ticket and they've knackered something up on the paperwork and you can go, actually, I'm afraid I'm not going to be paying this because you've put the wrong reg plate on this or something. Can we just get off it for that? Or are we going to end up with fines for having 2 shit penalties given against us? I think to add a bit of insult to injury.
They'll find something, won't they?
I think we should reply back with a letter written in our own shit.
From last month.
Your shit? Our shit? Whose shit?
Whoever's.
I think Victor Otto would be up for that.
Probably would.
A dirty protest.
Yeah, I mean, they've not given any details, have they? Because it's the FA's way. But it didn't seem like anything massively untoward went on.
Didn't seem anything you don't see every other week in every other game, that every decision made by a referee generally involves one player telling him to fuck off. And
also, didn't we have Jurgen Klopp actually coming on the pitch to have a go at a referee not so long ago, and that was fine?
I don't know if he had a go at him, he just told him what he should be doing.
Okay, that's different maybe. If you're just being instructive,
yeah,
that's fine.
I would like you to send him off because it's the right thing to do.
He was just helping the ref out, wasn't he?
Yeah. The FA can go bollocks, can't they?
Basically, yes.
You say insult and injury. Let's talk about the injuries then. Have we got a definitive list of who is and who isn't injured? We're recording ahead of Man City. We should say this show, if you are listening to it all in one go, we're dividing it up around the Man City game, aren't we? So
yes, to try and get it out sooner.
Yeah, we've got the Arsenal preview that's going to be recorded after the Man City game. So who knows what extensive injuries we may get tonight.
Yeah, I mean, the one that was not... I don't think he was specifically mentioned in the presser, but did anyone ask about Rafinha directly? I'm not sure they did, because Bielsa never tells you, does he?
No, he's not mentioned him. But what that means, we'll find out tonight, I guess.
Because occasionally, if no one asks him about injuries, it just gets to a game and there's 3 players missing, and he goes, "Oh yes, it's because they've all died." I'm afraid. I didn't mention it during the press conference, but yes, they won't play again. So we'll wait and see on Rafinha. The ones we know are missing, Cooper and Calvin are both out for months, having surgery. Calvin might be having 2 surgeries, just because
Bielsa didn't seem to know anything about it.
That seems a little bit odd, but yeah, Calvin might be having his shoulder sorted out at the same time. It seemed to be implied the previous week. So he's definitely out. Strauch is definitely out because he's injured his foot in a weird way. 2 bones have collided, apparently. Then he can't play again until the pain goes away.
And Rodrigo's had a similar sort of injury. Well, they said it's like Strauch. I don't know if that means it's the old collision of 2 bones, but he said it's very unusual and needs the pain to go before he can play. You need the old Tom Jones injury, don't you, really, if you want to get through these things quickly.
What's the Tom Jones injury?
It's not unusual.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I was confused.
Sorry, that was a really, really bad joke.
Yeah, it seems that we seem to do quite well to attract freak injuries, don't we? Like, Forshaw had to miss 2 years because he had a completely never seen before hip injury, and now we've got these 2.
It is impressive that, we're injuring people in ways that Bielsa has never seen before. I think that was the similarity between Strauch and Rodrigo's injury, is that Bielsa's never seen them before, basically. So we're just keeping Rob Price on his toes, I guess.
I mean, in unrelated news, you would be aware that Moscow's been off the show because he got COVID, and he's on his way back in. He's on the mend, but he felt pretty grotty for a bit, and it's terrified us into dashing off and getting our boosters ASAP, Michael and I. So is it time just to call a halt to the season? Maybe for 2 months?
It might be happening anyway. You never know. The COVID seems to be getting... it's very popular again, isn't it, this time of year? So, yeah, a couple of games off already. Scum Brentford has been called off. Was that this morning or last night? I can't remember. It was certainly rumoured last night anyway. And then the Spurs-Brighton game as well. So, yeah, as long as it doesn't happen to us, it's creating a nice little backlog of fixture congestion towards the end of the season, which I don't mind for other teams. It's just when it disrupts every game, we might have to stop.
I mean, 2 months off now might be helpful.
Yeah. Or the problem is with 2 months off now, you can't really do it, can you? Because when do you play all the games?
Later on.
But we can't later on because there's a World Cup next year.
Yeah, there is that, isn't there?
Yeah, and that's in the middle of next season. So if we end this season a couple of months late, you'll come back for like a month and then go off to the World Cup.
Yeah, it's going to cause more injuries, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's bad, isn't it?
We could just not bother with the World Cup. That's what I do. Or end the season now. Points per game. Yeah. Lovely stuff. Start again in March. I'll do, won't it? End of March.
Whenever you like. Just talking about stuff that might be affected by the passage of time, suspensions. We've got loads of players on 4 bookings and they all need to behave themselves or stay injured.
Yeah, I mean, most of them are not going to be an issue because they're never going to play again, like Rodrigo and Cooper. But actually, Rafinha has managed to pick up a fair few, and so has Firpo. I feel like Firpo and Rafinha have done really well to pick up bookings because they're not... Well, Firpo, in his case, he's hardly played, and Rafinha is an attacking midfielder. So
I'm surprised to see Shackleton there as well. I feel like he's just too nice to be booked.
Well, all goes back into the FA conspiracy.
It is. Well, you know what's going to happen as well. Like Llorente will get booked. Strauch will continue to be injured. Llorente will get booked just in time to go to Liverpool, and we'll have no defence. So Charlie Cresswell will end up going to Liverpool when he'll be thrown in against Liverpool.
And he will boss that game.
That's my prediction now. And then, well, we'll just see, won't we?
But yeah, Roberts is the other one on a booking. But it's not ideal, is it, when we don't have many, when we've already got a bench full of children, that some of the senior players, and I include, Shackleton and Roberts in that, might be on the verge of missing games as well.
Bielsa did get asked about this in his press conference yesterday, and I didn't see the question, so I don't know but he seemed to get a bit defensive, saying, well, we don't send people out to go get booked. That's sort of the instruction is, don't do anything that's going to get you booked. But
don't do that. Do that, and by doing that, I mean score goals and win games, things like that. Assuming it all is continuing into January, we got transfer window, we've got FA Cup. Which would you like to do first?
Well, we might as well get the FA Cup out of the way, as we normally do, as is traditional in January.
So we've got just shy of 9,000 tickets, which is the full allocation for West Ham, which is brilliant. Unfortunately, there are no trains.
No. Well, there are 3 trains.
Just the 3.
There are 3 trains.
Will they hold 9,000 people? Will they hold 3,000 each?
Have you seen the trains in India where there's the people on the outside hanging out the windows? Just go for something like that.
Is that fine on the East Coast Main Line?
I think so, yeah.
Well, in fact, it's because there's diversions on the East Coast Main Line, isn't there, that they're doing works or whatever. So you might not have to go down that. You might be able to go on the local route. So what time does it kick off? Do we know?
Do you know what? I can't remember.
2:15 or
yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
So if you set off at 5 a.m, you might get there just in time for kick-off.
I was made to feel really old this week by seeing that there are only 10 3:00 kickoffs in the FA Cup third round, and I thought, oh, bloody progress, eh? I liked it when they were all at the same time.
When the build-up started at 9 a.m. or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a bit of a letdown though. The FA Cup third round day with only 10 games at 3. It does feel wrong.
We are also playing at West Ham the following weekend as well. So, I mean, if trains are bad, I guess you can just slum it in London for the week. If
Just stay down. Yeah, I mean, it's good that in a season where it's incredibly hard to get away tickets, it's good that there is an opportunity for more people to go, even if it is to a athletic stadium
Next to a shopping
centre. It's not great fun, is it? Is Upton Park actually been demolished? Could they not recommission it for this game?
It's got a very good outdoor play area as this area next to West Ham Stadium.
Okay, that's nice.
So you go to the shopping centre, take the kids to the play area.
Is the big slide thing open still?
Big slide? I don't know. It's still there.
What's it called?
The big slidey thing.
The big slide, that's what it's called, isn't it? Like Big Ben, big slide.
The big slidey thing. And the other January thing is the transfer window. We're seeing links, which is exciting, isn't it? I mean, Ben Brereton Diaz was the name we brought up on the Phil Hay show, and with no basis whatsoever, it was mentioned by, it was Alan Nixon, wasn't it, who reported on it, I think, in The Sun over the weekend. Bit in paper, that bloke. Suggesting that Blackburn want 25 million for him. So there is a bit of confusion around his contracts. I mentioned on the Phil Hay show that he's coming into the last 6 months. He is, but they've got a unilateral right to add another year, haven't they, of Blackburn?
Right.
But he's not going to re-sign on the same terms he's on. So it might be that they extend him by a year and then sell him. So you might be looking at a little bit more than like 5 pence to buy him if you wanted him. Do you want him? It's quite chunky.
Is that good? Or does that mean he needs to lose 4 stone before we play him?
He needs to lose most of his body weight, come in for a series of niggling injuries that last for months, and then he'll be fit for August.
Okay. Can we loan him and promise to buy him at the end of the season? That seems to sometimes work. And then if it works out, it works out. If not...
Wouldn't entirely surprise me if they didn't try and do that. You know, if they wanted to push it out to a couple of players. Come to think of it, I hadn't really thought about the loan to buy, but you know that's because they might do, because that's exactly the point that'll get levelled at them, aren't they? Have we had midfielders linked, or is it all just Brereton Diaz at the minute?
I don't think there doesn't seem to have been anything concrete. There was some talk about Chelsea recalling Gallagher. I saw someone have a theory that they were going to recall him and then sell him.
Chelsea are not going to send anyone to us again, are they? After, who was it? Blackman,
Baker.
Izzy Brown, and Lewis Baker, yeah. I feel like we're just burning any bridges with clubs for loan deals with how things have gone recently. And I mean, we've probably only been linked with Brereton Diaz because he plays for Chile now. And it's like, oh, well, didn't Bielsa used to... Oh, yeah, there's the link. In the same way that we're linked with Ross Barkley. It's like looking at his Wikipedia and going, oh, wait, he was
you're playing it down, Rob, but we've had a football heavyweight weighing on this.
That's true.
This adds a lot of, I think, a lot of weight to the possibility it might happen.
Carlton Palmer, isn't it? On Give Me Sport, no less. So
Jesus, well, we're talking seriously, one of the big hitters there.
I don't know how they've come to ask Carlton Palmer about...
Danny Mills' phone was off.
What's Carlton had to say? Have you got the quote there?
He says, we've been struggling... they've been struggling... Not we, sorry. They've been struggling for goals. So I think it's an area Leeds need to address in the transfer window. They need to bring a striker in.
Well...
Which means...
It's on then.
Which means I can't see it not happening now, to be honest. Get your money on it. I mean, we've played against him before, haven't we?
Who, Brereton Diaz? We played in pre-season.
We played Brereton.
Brereton, then we played before.
We've played. Yeah, I was surprised how young he is, actually. He's only 22 still. In my head, he's about 30. So, I don't know. He might be all right. We just won't play him though, will we? I think we need to bring in someone who is in a position we desperately need and is 100% Bielsa fit, which essentially limits it to no one.
Imagine Rafinha came in and played straight away. So
yeah, that's true. I think he was just such an upgrade on anything we had though that they're just like, oh, okay, we can't really continue to play Helder Costa, can we? Because we saw a little glimpse of him and we were like, yeah, he just needs to play.
He did have to have a few games off the bench, didn't he, Rafinha? Like, whereas someone like Dan James has come in and just seems to have started from the beginning because there was no one else. Whereas, yeah, it wasn't quite that stretched when Rafinha first signed. And like you say, if they do sign a striker from Blackburn, he's just going to sit on the bench, isn't he?
Can't we get Jason Roberts?
Yep.
I feel like we were linked with him for about 10 transfer windows in a row at one point, and I'm pretty sure he's still at Blackburn.
Do you feel it'd be effective if we slotted him in there now? Let's see how old he is.
I think he's coming into his prime. I think I watched Moneyball last night. Actually, I've never seen it before, and
it's good, isn't it?
And they were saying part of the strategy was trying to sign players who other people would overlook because of their age or physical attributes or whatever.
Same school year as me as Jason Roberts.
43-year-old Jason Roberts, 44 in January.
Yep, slightly older than me.
Last played a game in 2014. Okay, I mean, are you available then?
Well, I was just going to say he's the same age as me. He's only 2 inches taller than me. So,
how about when he jumps? How much taller is he than you? I'm going to say he's 2 foot taller than you
when I jump, I shrink by about 4 inches. I think, looking at his list I could do a job there. He's never played that high a level, has he? Look, Hayes, Wolves, West Brom, Wigan, Bristol Rovers, both Bristols actually, City then and Rovers, Reading. I could play at a decent level. Be fine.
I think we should have an experiment of just putting in a normal person in Bielsa's training, see how long the coat, see if you make it to the end of the day.
I wouldn't.
Someone asked me, because I think it was a Twitter suggestion that we should sign Dele Alli. I just said, it'll take him 6 months to be fit, and someone said, how long would it take you to be Bielsa fit? And I was like, I don't think it would be. I think it would have the program would have to start with a couple of bits of surgery. They were like, well, your back simply cannot do it, your knees simply cannot do it, so we're going to replace most of you, and then we'll see how we get on after that.
Be like RoboCop.
Exactly.
Do you know what? If they did ease you into it and did all the necessary repair work first, and you weren't playing football at the end of it, you were just going to see if you could get Bielsa fit. It would be interesting to see if you could do it.
I don't think so.
I mean, Rob, you're still of professional footballer age, Rob, but I mean, I'm well clear of it.
I feel like
obviously.
Rob Price would just look at me and just rip me for parts, and that'd be it. I'd be used to sort of reinforce people's joints and ligaments.
Bleep test, 1 bleep. Done. Right. In terms of other games, 23s have not had a game since we last spoke, have they, on the weekly show? But we've got Wigan in the Premier League Cup. That's not tonight? It's Thursday.
Thursday night, that one. Yes.
Right.
And all their players are sat on our bench, which isn't ideal.
Yeah, it's a bit tricky at the moment because we need to save people in case they're needed for the first team. So it is still the proper children playing in the under 23s.
We've got that Spanish lad coming in, haven't we? I've forgotten his name. Who's coming in January from?
Oh yeah, we've not even mentioned him.
Sociedad he's coming in from. Yeah,
that's good research, isn't it?
Yep.
Spanish. What's his name? Spanish lad.
Yeah, that's the one. Spanish lad.
Juan Pablo. Yeah, him. He's not going to play, is he? He's going to be one for the 23s.
He's got quite cool hair. I like his hair.
Okay, well that's something.
Looks good on a photograph, so that's nice. The women lost 6-0 in the FA Cup to Durham, who are a division above them.
In the third round. Yeah, upholding Leeds United traditions.
But they have played like Durham Sestria, which is because the level that they're playing at is slightly more regionalised, so they're playing in the North East League at the minute. Again, if you are an Extra Ball subscriber, TSB Plus subscriber, go watch or listen to the episode with Olivia Smart, who explains basically where they are in the league ladders, and they're aspiring to be in the division that Durham are currently in, but evidently it's quite a step up. Because there's Durham Sestria who are in their division at the minute, who are the more regionalised team, and it seems to be Durham proper who are in the league above.
Yeah, I mean the division of the women's football is probably even more of a chasm than men's football, because you get a couple of divisions down and it's amateur, and it's versus like Man City and Chelsea who invest absolutely millions in it. So it's it's not easy, but like I say, it's only right that we're exiting the third round. Concentrate on the league, I think, is the official line we have at this point.
We didn't enter in the third round, though, did we? We hadn't won to get to this point, so we've got our FA Cup victories for the year in the bank now.
It's like us being 15th in the Premier League. You know, we've defaulted to type, haven't we? After so many years, finishing 15th in the Championship, we've found our natural home again in the Premier League. Long may it continue. That's part one done with. Then we will pause now, and we're going to do the preview for Arsenal after the Man City game. So we're coming back in tomorrow. So if you are watching this on YouTube and you go across to that bit of the playlist, we may be wearing different clothes.
Yeah, I mean, we considered doing it straight away, but there needs to be the rampant optimism or pessimism, doesn't there, based on tonight's game? So we'll see how it goes. Should we make a prediction now for Arsenal ahead of the Man City game, just to give it a bit of extra jeopardy?
Nah, we'll beat Arsenal anyway.
You reckon? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's stick with that regardless. Then that's the preview done. There you go. Don't bother listening.
Spoiler alert.
The Square Ball Podcast.